The market holding with a gain of about 0.5% now, and the mid-cap index continuing its outperformance. But it's time now for movers and shakers. So let's tell you about all the individual stocks that are buzzing in trade. And of course, Yes Bank remains top of mind. There's a board meeting today, and it's quite crucial actually because they are expected to approve a shortlist for a new chairman, and that shortlist is expected to also be shared subsequently with the Reserve Bank. Ritu Singh, my colleague who's been tracking the story quite closely, now joins in with the details. Hi Ritu, what have you picked up?
That's right. Yes Bank is in a damage control mode, and the board will be meeting today to take stock of the vacancies in its top leadership. This is going to be a very crucial meeting where the board will name a new independent director and also evaluate a new non-executive chairman for the board for approval by the Reserve Bank of India after Ashok Chawla resigned from the bank just last month. Remember, 2 directors have been appointed by the bank so far to replace Ashok Chawla and Vasant Gujrati, who had also resigned from the board recently. And the bank is now looking at shortlisting one more independent director with expertise in the field of information technology and cybersecurity to replace R. Chandrasekhar, who also resigned from the board in the month of November. Now, as far as the post of chairman is concerned, Nandan Nilekani's name has been doing the rounds, but so far the bank has not confirmed this information to CNBC TV 18. Also on the agenda in today's meeting is a review of the search committee's progress in the selection of candidates for the post of MD and CEO to take over from Rana Kapoor when he vacates office by the end of January next year. And as we had reported earlier, the search and selection committee meeting did take place yesterday to discuss the final shortlist for a new MD and CEO appointment, which will now have to be ratified by the board of Yes Bank, and then it will be sent to the RBI for the final nod.
Thank you, Ritu, for that. Let's talk about Interglobe Aviation. So that's higher by close to about 2.5%. Sonal is here to tell us about the Morgan Stanley upgrade on that. Sonal?
Well, thanks a lot for that, Reema. And yes, Morgan Stanley has upgraded the stock to an overweight from an equal weight. Not only that, they have increased the target price to around 1,311 rupees per share. While they think it's time to board the company and board an Indigo flight, that is because the tracker for the airfares is suggesting a YOY increase in the airfares. Also, the cost pressures, they are coming down. So they think if the crude price levels and also the foreign exchange earnings stay at these levels, then the company will definitely show some amount of growth in quarters to come. They also are building in a jet fuel price at around $85 per barrel versus spot of $73 per barrel. Also, they say that the company has a cash of around 30% to the current market cap, and also the company has lowest cost per available seat kilometers. That is the efficiency tool that we use to measure the profitability of airlines versus all the peers. So it is lowest in all the 3 airlines, and that's why they are expecting an increase in the EPS. They have increased the FY20 EPS by 23% and FY21 EPS by 82%. Back to you.
Sonal, thanks very much for that. And it's a good day to be in NBFC actually. So pretty much all stocks are rallying today. Abhishek is here to tell us the very latest.
Well, the liquidity crunch Sumera has been dealt with, and there has been no major upset seen in the NBFC sector. In fact, the commercial paper market activity has been much better panning out than anticipated. So as per an Edelweiss note, in the month of November, while 1.6 lakh crore came up for redemption, about 80% of this, that is 1.3 lakh crore, have seen a rollover or have been refinanced. So that is a good news. But on the flip side, the liquidity crunch in NBFC sector has impacted the real estate sector. Now, the commercial real estate sector, if you see, 60% of it is financed by NBFC or housing finance companies. Coming back to the good side, the bond yields have cooled off massively, right from 8.2% to now below 7.4%. What this means is that the incremental cost of funds for NBFCs have started to come down. So valuation wise, if you see, many NBFCs have corrected 30 to 50% and provides a good entry opportunity for investors as per analysts. Back to you.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Ekta, over to you on Sun Pharma.
Well, actually, the news on Sun Pharma is that SEBI has in fact confirmed, and they did confirm it in a press conference last evening, that they have received a whistleblower complaint with regards to Sun Pharma, and they are currently examining that whistleblower complaint which has been received on that particular company. Now, obviously, the uncertainty rises because earlier there were just reports that SEBI had received a whistleblower complaint, and separately, Sun Pharma themselves on December 3rd had said that they they have not heard from SEBI as of now. They would probably need more clarity in terms of the whistleblower complaint and what it entails. So obviously there is uncertainty about what exactly it entails and whether there are older issues which are in fact brought up within this complaint or not, and whether it deals with this cases such as an insider trading case, etc., which in fact was settled with SEBI, and whether or not those cases would probably be reopened. So there is uncertainty because nobody has access to that complaint and what it might entail and what the repercussions might be from SEBI's angle once they do examine that report.
Ekta, thanks very much for that. Abhishek, why are you watching Max India?
Well, news reports suggest, Sumaira, that private equity firm, that is True North Capital Managers, is set to buy a majority stake in the health insurance arm of Max India, that is Max Bupa. So Max India will exit its health insurance business. After this deal, True North is looking to invest about 1,000 crore for buying out the stake of Max India in Max Bupa. Now, this will be the first exit by a promoter in an insurance industry. So Max Bupa and True North both have actually officially agreed on the deal and are expected to make an announcement very soon. Back to you.
Okay, as of now, this is reports, of course. But let's move on and talk about DLF. That's down close to about 1% odd. Sonal, it's the impending QIP which is putting pressure on the stock today?
That as well as might be because of the group CFO, Mr. Saurabh Chawla, resigning from the company. But that should not necessarily be a negative because Mr. Ashok Kumar Tyagi has taken over as the group CFO, who has been with the company for the longest time and was the CFO before Mr. Saurabh Chawla. Other news is that company has sought approval for raising money through QIP, and they'll be issuing around 17.3 crore rupees. They are looking to raise around 3,000 to 3,500 crore rupees. The resolution was taken back in December of 2017. This will be expiring by around 26th of December, and that's why this enabling resolution to extend the approval has been taken, and company will be using these proceeds to pay off the debt, and company plans to be net debt free at least in their development business in next few quarters. So all this is something that is putting pressure on the stock today.
All right, thanks very much for that. And Abhishek, it looks like you really are tracking a lot of stocks today, right? So there's a report on Ujjivan.
Well, Axis Cap has come out with a report on Ujjivan wherein they have maintained their buy stance and a target price of 280 rupees per share. The core business, as per them, is looking in good shape on account of the fact that 20% plus CAGR is seen in the loan growth and it is a diversified loan book. However, the key point that I noticed in the report is that this Ujjivan is now looking to be a universal bank. So, and they can become a universal bank, or they are looking to apply for a license of universal bank post 5 years of completion of the small finance bank business. The universal license bank actually helps in overcoming many hurdles that they face as a small finance bank. So that is, the capital adequacy ratio is now at 15%. That comes down to 9%. The 75% priority sector lending target actually declines to 40%, and they have about 50% of the book below 25 lakh ticket size. So that helps in expanding your ticket sizes as well, and it may also help in doing away with the holding company structure, which is a positive sign. On the flip side, the near-term challenges are that regulations required Ujjivan to list SFB within 3 years of operation. Mr. Ghosh is set to retire in November 19, so there is an under process that is happening in terms of the leadership change, and agriculture debt waiver can impact the bank negatively. Back to you.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Here's a quick recap then of the top stocks that you're tracking at noon. We've got Yes Bank, a couple of the other NBFCs like Bajaj Finserv, Indiabulls Housing Finance, Repco Home Finance, Interglobe Aviation is on our radar, Sun Pharma, Max India, DLF, and finally Ujjivan.